It's steak night, the favoriteest night of the week. This is one of my very favorite cuts, and I'm gonna cut the steaks fresh. I'm gonna open this over the sink so it doesn't make a mess. All right, first step, I'm gonna pat it down. I haven't even told you what it is yet, but I'm still gonna pat it dry to make sure that it's easier to work with. This is not a tri-tip. This is a top sirloin cap. Also called a culotte, also called a picanha, and in Australia this would be called a rump cap. This is the same muscle you'll see in like Brazilian restaurants where they'll like fold it into a C and stick a skewer through it. So you can grill or smoke this whole, but I'm going to cut it into steaks. This part here, no bueno. That's where someone obviously cut it when they shouldn't have while they were in the boning room. Boning room. But it doesn't really matter because I'm going to cut steaks anyway. So in fact, let's just get rid of that. It can be like its own little mini picanha. Look at that marbling. I kind of have two choices here. I can either cut my steaks this way or I can cut them this way. The main difference is going to be the grain, and that's the direction that all of the muscle fibers are running. You can see these like lines in the muscle here. That's the grain. Honestly, I don't really care which way I cut these because once I cook these as a steak, the natural next step is going to be to slice a piece off before you eat it so it kind of all works out in the wash. So I'm going to come this way. That fat cap is pretty thick. I can probably stand to trim it down a little bit just because I do want that fat to render. Trust me, this will be plenty there. Right underneath this fat cap is a really firm piece of silver skin that is really tough when it cooks up. That's why I prefer grilling this, because I think that that direct heat just does a better job of really softening that connective tissue. Because you do want these to be at medium rare, and if you smoke them to medium rare, it's only going to take like an hour. Do not erupt in horror. I promise you there's enough fat left on here. I mean, come on. There's one more cut that I like to do on these. Now, if I were to try and sear that or grill it, the meat actually wouldn't have as much contact as the fat because the fat is higher. So all you got to do is put it fat side down and you kind of bevel the edge in. And then you've created a fat cap that's much more even with the meat. So all that fat can go in a Ziploc in your fridge and you can make tallow out of it. And then cook potatoes in it. They're going to be amazing. Purists will only use salt, but I'm here for the flavor. So I'm going to use Hardcore Carnivore Black. Give them a generous coat on both sides. And because these are really thick steaks too, you want to make sure that you get the edges. You can just kind of swipe them around on the board to pick up any excess seasoning. These two I'm going to leave plain for the doggos. I'm going to wash my hand and then we're going to grill.